on the air, you hear that you're not going to work there anymore, right? So tell me how that day goes for you. Just you said you just almost said, well, maybe I did, but tell me just a little bit about those final days, the final kind of months.
So I mean, it's pretty simple, right? We knew the contract was up. We knew it was being negotiated. We knew that they were shopping the show to other people too. We didn't know, obviously the contract was going to end at a specific date. So we didn't know anything outside of, hey, everybody's negotiating. And we were under the impression that, the negotiations were going somewhat okay and things were going to kind of all work out. And then we hear the news on the air. So that was really how we found out that the channel wasn't coming back.
I mean, what
was Howard's announcement.
And what did you feel? Like, you've been there so long. Did you feel like you'd be a lifer there? Or like, how does that make you feel? Because I'm like, and Doug's been there a long time too, and he's an executive, and like, I know when you lose, like, things don't go right. It's weird, but boy, when you're there that long and you're that loyal, and it just is sort of done dirty. Like, tell me what did it feel like to you? Like,
look, I have a different way of looking at it than probably most people. It was business on why the show didn't come back, right? And contracts, they come and they go, and sometimes they're not always done. But on the other side, on the personal side, yes, I've been there for 24 years. It's a long time. It's probably, I felt in my mind, I was not in a position that, you should find this out on the air and that's really how we're going to go out. But there was still always the chance the video portion of the show was still going to stick around in some version. So it wasn't really like, hey, you're done. Until they finally were like, yeah, I guess, no deals are being made, But yeah, it was really odd to hear it. It was really sad. It was sad for everybody that worked on the Howard TV team, because they, again, everybody really cared about this product and cared about working on the show. And I think everybody just got deflated hearing that's the way the show was going to go out and not getting, even a personal heads up an hour before, 15 minutes before anything, that, you're hearing this news on the radio and, it does hurt that way. It does sting.
Did you have a chance ever to talk to Howard about it?
No, we had very limited, I was there until the end of that year. Some people didn't last as long because, once the show was deemed that it wasn't coming back, the company had a layoff plan in place, where certain employees we were going to purge as we were going closer to the end of the contract date where, obviously we weren't going to be producing new content. So I was there, I think myself, Doug, and one other person were there to the very bitter end. But yeah, no, I mean, there was a few little interactions, but nothing really. Nothing to speak of.
Do you go, what the fuck?
Dude, I can't, this is how I've always looked at it. I can't control how somebody else reacts to things. You know what I mean? And I can't put my expectations on somebody else because they're not me and everybody acts the way they're going to act and they're never going to change just for me. So I took it as this is the way he is and this is the way he acts and that's what it is.
Yeah, and early on when you're talking about getting that kid thing, you could see him just, well, he's a kid, he's an intern, I don't need him, right? It's...
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, Howard doesn't need anybody except himself, really, right? The show still, it's his name, it's his show. If everybody else disappeared, he'd still be doing a show and be all by himself and just be fine. But I think we did all bring something to that show. I don't think that we didn't have anything to do with its success. I think he would have been successful no matter what, but I do think that there were certain things that people loved about us being on the show that I think, we brought some value to that.
He gave you a lot of shit on the air. Did you enjoy that when you got called in there?
Depends. Sometimes, absolutely. Listen, you make your own bed, right? Sometimes you do something and it's going to be on the air. Sometimes you manufacture something because it's going to get on the air. And sometimes, you fuck up and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I'm never going to hear the end of it. And those are the times you really don't want to be on. But like we always had a pretty good phrase that we said, the pendulum swings quick around here, and the job was to push it onto somebody else. So you would always keep a little something in your back pocket on somebody else, that when it started pointing in your direction, you just drop that little grenade, and hopefully it goes and hits somebody else, and that somebody else was usually always Gange. So it was a great way to get the attention of you if you didn't want it that day.
Yeah. You could probably pass it off to Brandano, right? You had a good fight with him on the air. That was a good one, right?
Yeah. We had a little disagreement at that point. I like Steve though. I have we.
I don't like you, Gange. I don't like you.
I know. Listen. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, a lot of things happen. Where your ego gets in the way, or you're just like you're pretty aggressive. But yeah, it was a good fight. That was a good fight. It almost turned personal the day before, or the couple days before, whenever it started. It almost turned to actual fisticuffs.
Well, you would have kicked.
We were almost going to throw down.
Right, you'd kick his ass. Right. Let's just get to the bottom of that.
I mean, I love Steve, and I'm not looking to fight him. And it's I do weigh 100 pounds more than him. So.
Well, and then I don't know how much people know about this MARCI person, but she came in and sort of changed the way Howard thought. Did it have anything to do with Howard TV, or did that kind of that stuff stay?
I don't know. I mean, she kind of came around like that kind of tail end. So we didn't have a terrible amount of dealings with her. We were kind of our own operation. So maybe that was why things didn't work out. Because we were kind of independent and our own operation, and we worked for a separate company. So that separate company had a lot of say in things, at least as far as what we could do and, how we were treated. But yeah, I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Yeah. Well, I've had a great time kind of reliving this stuff, and you're at FUBU now, and that's, I think people know about FUBU.
Yeah. Check it. It's not FUBU. It's not the clothing. I'm not stitching clothes.
90s,
in the 90s.
Urban shorts.
Yeah. It's FuboSportsNetwork.com. Fubo. F-U-B-O.
I was trying to say, for some reason, I could not get the Fubo.
Yeah.
That's a streaming service, so people can get the streaming service right now, and that's cool. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, and if you love soccer and you like to laugh, the Cooligans are one of the best shows around. They're so funny and so great, and Drinks with Binks is just a really, really good interview show. So please check them out. FuboSports.com, FuboSportsNetwork.com. Sorry, FuboSportsNetwork.com.
You go to FuboSports.com, you're going to find some.
And you'll see.
Get some bad.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see something else, and you'll see the stuff that we're working on now. So
I'm sure people want to know. Have you talked to Kendra? How's the ladies' situation? People ask. I'm sure.
I mean, lady situation is great. I have a long-term girlfriend who's amazing, and things are good.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you were gonna say something. I don't want to.
No. I didn't know where you were going.
No, I have nothing else. That was the end of my list. I didn't even really.
Nice.
I could ask about Kendra.
What else did you have? Yeah, that's kind of long. That's really. I'm not.
People already. You've talked about that enough. Yeah, that's it. That's all. I mean, we went through all the good stuff. I thought we did it a little longer than I expected, but.
Dude, that's some research on a little piece of loose leaf there.
That's what I do.
I was hoping I'd at least get something typed up.
No, this is the way. Now you're in sports production, and I've been in sports production all my life, and like people try to get you to, hey, can you give me this, in Google Docs, and I'm like, can't I just give you? This is my notes. This is what I kept. So
Google Docs, Slack, Asana, get used to it.
I know
all these stupid products that everybody has to use.
It's taken over. Well, thank you, Mike Gange, and thank you for watching again here on Here's the Pitch. Masses Restaurants, the sponsor, title sponsor, stlmasses.com. Go to the website, check out the directions to the restaurant and the menus and all the good stuff there, and we'll see you next time.